Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, my name is Raven and welcome back to my channel. And welcome to my ultimate beginner's guide to For Honor. So recently, For Honor has become free on Steam for a certain period of time. It's also free if you get Xbox Gold. They're doing it on PS4 eventually. So I thought it would be a really good time to jump in and just do an overall start to finish 100% beginner's guide where I go over every single thing when it comes to the basics of this game and how to play. So if you're someone who's been playing the game for a while, this video is pretty much not for you. You can still watch it and check it out. I would appreciate that. But if you choose to not watch it, that's completely fine because you're going to know everything here. Like I said, this is a pure beginner basic guide type thing to For Honor. But for anyone who just picked up the game for free, this will be the perfect thing for you. You can go over it, watch it a couple times, practice the things I show in here. And by doing this, you'll get an understanding of the fundamentals of the game. And then you can go forward from that point and start crushing some faces. So with that said, I'm going to be using the Warlord, and I'll be using a couple of other characters to showcase some things, and let's get into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the basics of the guard break first. So in For Honor, there is a mechanic called guard break. So this right here is when you're not locked onto anyone. I'm using an Xbox controller, so just convert it to whether you're playing on PC or PS4. But what you do is you use your left trigger and you lock yourself onto the target. So when you're locked on, this is basically how you fight. Now on the Xbox controller, if you press X, that's the guard break, okay? You'll basically jump in and you'll slam some guy and you'll break their guard. Now as you can see, they can't do anything in this state, and I can do a couple of things once I guard break them, which I'll go over in a second. Now you have to be pretty close in order to guard break someone. If I go and guard break from here, I'll be able to get them. If I am back a little bit and I guard break, I'm gonna whiff it. Now when you whiff a guard break, okay, basically means you're not landing it. You have a recovery frame. So as you can see, my guy, he sort of like stumbles for a second, and you can see my guard isn't white. So when my guard's white, it's working. When my guard is not white, it's not working. So if he was to strike then, as I go and whiff that guard break, from that direction, he'll hit me. Now keep in mind, everything has a recovery timing. Your light attacks have it, your heavy attacks have it, pretty much everything has it. But when you finally do guard break someone, there are a couple things you can do, and it's purely dependent on the character. So, normally once you land a guard break, you can get a free heavy attack. Now keep in mind that with the Warlord, you can only get a free heavy attack if you attack from the top stance. So if I go here and I attack from the top, I get a free heavy attack. If I go here and I attack from the side, he blocks it. That's because the side heavy attack from guard break has a longer millisecond, so just MS is the term for it. It has a longer MS than the top. So your guaranteed heavy attack from a guard break on the Warlord is the top, but it's different if you're playing the Warden, which is the guy I'm versing right now, and you go for a heavy attack from a guard break to the top. It's not going to work, it's too slow. The Warden gets a heavy attack from the side. So you're going to have to, depending on the character, work out which heavy attack you're able to get. I know for a fact that Raider, he can't get heavy attacks at all from a guard break, it's too slow. So you need to keep that in mind whenever you're trying to land a free heavy attack from a guard break. Now what I've done here is I've set the bot to guard break me. So as you can see, the bot at guard breaks me. It's not going to attack at this point in time because I haven't set it to do that. But what you can do when someone guard breaks you is if you're quick enough, as soon as they guard break you in a second, you hit your guard break button and you counter guard break them. So that is how you counter that. So whenever someone guard breaks you, boom, that's the timing, okay? If I was to go a little bit later than what I'm doing right now, he guard breaks, I click it now, too late. If he guard breaks, alright, and then I click it straight away as soon as I see it, boom, I counter guard break and I push him off me. So that is the counter to that, and you're gonna have to get used to that. The timing on the guard break and the counter guard break is it's really tight. See, as soon as it's habit now for me because I've been playing for so long, but you got to just get into the timing of it. As soon as you see the guard break come out, counter guard break by pushing your guard break and you'll throw them off you. Now keep in mind, there is a unique mechanic to the counter guard break. So if say behind this Warden was a ledge, alright, if he was to guard break me, and I counter guard break, he would fall off the ledge if he's close enough. So you got to make sure that you're not guard breaking people when your back is to a ledge or maybe a spike trap or a fire pit or some of those environmental hazards, because if you get counter guard broken like this Warden right now, you will be pushed into that hazard or off a cliff, which will result in your death or a lot of damage on your end, and you don't want that. Now keep in mind, if someone goes to guard break as you're throwing out an attack, it's not going to work. So if I like right there, boom, perfect example. So because I threw out an attack when he went to guard break like that, it's not going to work for him and I'm going to hit through it. You can only guard break people when they dodge just like that or when they're in a stance. So attack will basically always override a guard break like it's showing right now. So you have to keep that in mind. Okay, so you can't just throw out guard breaks willy-nilly. They can be counter guard broken. They can be fluffed with attacks. And of course, if I go to dodge, I'll just sit here and try and dodge and get him to do it. It's a good way to dodge attacks, but at the same time, if he guard breaks me when I'm dodging, if he will do it, bot. There we go. You can catch people out of dodging. So if you want to dodge, all you have to do basically is pick a direction you want. I push my movement stick right and I hit the A button on the Xbox controller. Keep that in mind, just convert that to whatever you're playing on and I will dodge. So those two at the same time and I would dodge. But if I'm dodging and he was to guard break at that time when I was dodging, he would catch me mid-dodge and he would be able to get a free heavy attack because I can't do anything about that. So to summarize the guard break, the things you need to worry about and the things you need to look out for is that if you manage to land a successful guard break, you can get a free heavy from either the top or the side, or some characters can't get a free heavy, but it all depends on the character. But genuinely, you will be able to get a free heavy of some description. Keep in mind that if you go for a guard break, they can counter guard break it. You can also counter guard break other people's guard breaks on you. And you can also stop guard breaks with light attacks if you time it right and heavy attacks. Also, if you are guard breaking someone and you're near a ledge, they can counter guard break you off that ledge. Vice versa, if they guard break you, you can counter guard break them, which will push them off a ledge or into a spike trap or a fire pit. And lastly, if someone is dodging and you guard break them, you'll be able to catch them out of the guard break. Same if they guard break when you're dodging, they'll be able to catch you out of your dodge, and you can also whiff it. Keep in mind, for recovery frames, you need to be fairly close for a guard break. It is a close distance thing. You can't really do it from back here. Not gonna work. If it's here, it is going to work. Now, one last thing to keep in mind, that if you guard break someone, you can push them. Now, Warlord has a special guard break mechanic. So when the Warlord, the guy I'm playing right now, is able to guard break someone, he can carry people very far. Now, that is exclusive only to him and the Raider. So basically on the Raider, if you guard break someone, you pick them up and you can stampeding charge, which means you run with them on your shoulder and you can slap them into a wall or you can throw them on the ground. But with a Warlord, I can guard break someone, I can just go and throw them like that, which is really, really good because, of course, with the Warlord, if there's a ledge just over there, I can grab this guy in a guard break and I can throw him off the ledge. Or if there is a ledge behind me, what I can do is I can guard break and then I can throw him off the ledge behind me. Now, most people, when you guard break someone, you'll just be able to, like, you know, smack them and you'll throw them a little bit, but it won't be enough to just basically run them all the way to a ledge like you can with a Warlord or, say, the Raider. Next thing we're going to be talking about, because it pertains to the guard break, is wall punishes and wall splats. So what a wall splat is basically when you get someone in the guard break, you shove them into a wall, and as you can see, he stumbles for a little bit, he gets a daze mechanic, which we'll go over, and then he can't do anything. So when I wall splat someone, boom, I can basically follow it up with a free attack. Now, wall splatting someone does several things. It gives me an opportunity to attack them for free because they can't move, and of course for them it puts them in a disadvantaged position. So you always want to be wall splatting when you can, and there are things called max punish which you can do. So if you look at this little meter thing over here, if I hit him with a top heavy, that does 25 damage, but my side heavies are slower and do 30 damage. Now, if I was to guard break him right now, throw him into the wall, I can get a free side heavy for 30 damage. I just did 5 extra damage than if I was to guard break normally and get my actual top heavy, which I can land on the Warlord, because it only does 25. Now, one thing to keep in mind, which is really important, there are recovery frames. So if I was to grab him with a guard break, throw him into this, and then switch my guard to the right, he's able to block it. Okay, because the time it takes for me to wall splat him, throw me to the wall, switch my guard to the right and hit a heavy attack, it's too long. He recovers in that time and he's able to block it. So what you have to do as the Warlord is, if I want to wall splat him, I have to make sure my guard stance is to the left or the right. Boom, slam him into that wall, go for the heavy attack straight away. He doesn't recover in time and I can get that side heavy for more damage. If I'm in the top stance and I throw him into the wall, I have to land that top heavy because I get it for free there, but I'm unable to get the side heavy because, once again, the switching stances, he recovers in that time. Keep that in mind. So that is how you wall splat and get the max punish off of a wall splat. Once again, it purely depends on the hero you're playing. Some people, like the assassins, can get multiple attacks in before they recover. Some of the heavier characters can only get one attack. Some people can get various things. It all depends on the character you're playing. This is just the fundamentals on how to do it. So that is how guard break works, that is how wall spotting works, and that is how, you know, knocking people about with the guard break works. Like I said, it's depending on the character, what you can do. But now we're going to go over stances, okay? So right now we're in guard stance. So I'm going to switch the bot to attack me. So now the bot's going to attack me, and right now I'm blocking. There are two types of block mechanics in this game. There is the normal block, which is a vanguard block, static block, whatever you want to call it. I call it static block, and then you have reflex guard. So the Warlord, Warden, Raiders, all the vanguards pretty much have a thing called, right now, which is static block. And then you have the assassins who have a reflex guard, which I'll show you in a minute. So the way this works is he goes to attack me. If I have my guard facing the same way he's attacking, then I'm going to block it. So boom, I block that attack. If I don't have it there, I'm going to eat the damage. So one thing you need to see here, that if I start blocking damage from this guy, I still take this thing called chip damage. So as you can see, I'll block another attack, and I will take a slight amount of damage. So as you can see, he's hitting me with a top heavy right now, and it's doing 8 damage, because that's a percentage of the total amount of damage that the heavy attack would do. Now currently, chip can't kill you. All this does is it's a way of whittling you down, so you can't just turtle up and just, you know, block every single attack and just sit there, because that's boring and no one wants to do that. People want to be attacking each other. So this will slowly get you down to, like, you know, really, really low health, and then it'll get to the point where the slightest attack, a light attack, whatever, will kill you. So that is how the normal guard works, okay, and that is how the static guard works and chip works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch across to an assassin and show you how reflex guard works. So I'm here on my shaman. Now shaman is an assassin, so as you can see, her guard right now is black, which means it's not active. Now, as you can see, if I move my guard to the side, it goes active, but then it decays very, very quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this bot to attack me, and then I will show you what that means. So right now, my guard isn't active because I haven't moved it there, and he's able to hit me. Now, if I was to move my guard to where he's going to attack, at the last second, I will be able to block it. So that is how assassins work with their reflex guard. You actually have to move your guard stance to whichever way they're attacking just before they hit you. Otherwise, it's going to decay and you're going to get screwed over. See, just like that. Now, keep in mind you still take the chip damage, so you have to watch out for that. But you have to make sure that your guard is in the direction at the last second. You can't just keep it there. So you see with him, if I was to attack him now, he just blocks it because he has that static guard. Whereas me, I need to move my guard, and you can't just keep it there, otherwise you die. So just like this, I was attack his one, he has static guard, that's fine. I need to move mine up at the last second in order to block his attack. That is how reflex guard works, that is how static guard works. So that is how assassins work, keep that in mind, and also keep in mind that's how chip damage works as well. Bop. Next up, we're going to be talking about dodging. So like I said before, the way dodge works is you just pick the direction you want to go and you hit A on Xbox controllers, whatever it is on PS4 and PSC, just convert that, but you hit the dodge button and you will dodge in that direction. Now this is a really good way of dodging people's attacks, because as you can see, he goes to hit me and I dodge in the direction that, you know, he's either attacking in, like the left, or if he's attacking from the top, I dodge left or right, or if he's attacking from the right, I dodge into his attack. Like that. Now keep in mind, if he's attacking from a left or right and I dodge away from it, he's still going to hit me. Here we go. See what I mean? It's because I dodged away from the way he's attacking, he's still going to hit me. When it comes to the left or right attacks, you have to dodge into them. That's how you dodge those attacks. When it comes to the top, it's pretty easy. Just dodge left or right and you're set to go. But keep in mind, you just don't want to sit here dodging all around the place, because like I said before, they will be able to guard break you out of your dodge. If you dodge too early, you're going to cop a hit. If you dodge too late, you're going to cop a hit. Okay, so you need to make sure that you time it perfectly. If he goes to attack, now. Okay, wait for him to attack. Now. You don't want to dodge too early, you don't want to dodge too late. And also, if you dodge at the right time like now, he can't guard break me there. Of course, unless he feints, which we'll get into in a minute. So just keep in mind, sit there, put a bot on you know, heavy attack mode, light attack mode, whatever you want, and then just practice dodging at the right time. Next, we're going to be looking at the parry and what you can get off of a parry, and what a parry is. So basically, what a parry looks like is this. Boom. Now, the way a parry works is you have to see whichever direction they're attacking from, and you have to hit your heavy attack in the direction they're attacking from at a specific time. So as you can see, when he attacks, it glows white for a split second just before the attack hits me. Ready? Watch it. Boom, right there. That is when you want to hit your heavy attack in the direction they're attacking from. Bang, right there. So this is something you're just going to have to sit there and practice, and it takes time. If I do it too late, it's not going to work. If I do it too early, I'm going to throw out a heavy myself, right? But if you get it at the right time, you'll be able to do it. So, I did it too early, it's not going to work. I'll do it too late now. He goes to attack, it was too late, he's going to hit me. So as you see it glowing at the very last second, now, you want to hit your heavy attack in the direction they're heavying you. Ready? Now. So wait for the attack, place it in the direction, heavy. Wait for the attack, direction, heavy. Now keep in mind, with the reflex guard, you need to make sure that you push the guard up at the same time that you're doing it in the same direction, because right now my guard isn't static. Boom, heavy attack. Now what you can get off a parry varies. So back in the day, once you got a parry off, what you could do is guard break the person, and then you would get a free heavy because that was what you got off a guard break. That changed recently, so now what you get off a parry depends on what you parried. So if I parry a heavy attack, I get a free light attack. If I parry a heavy attack and I go for a guard break, they can counter guard break that if they're quick enough, so it's not guaranteed anymore. So you want to keep this in mind. They heavy attack, you get a free light attack. Boom. But if you parry a light attack, you get a free heavy attack. So let's show you the light attacks. Here we go. Now light attacks are very hard to parry. You got to be very, very quick with it. Ready? Just like that. So as you can see, it's this massive glow goes across the screen. There's a lot more sparks. That's to tell you that you just parried a light and you can get a heavy attack. Boom. Just like that. You can see the difference. You'll definitely know when you're parrying a heavy and when you're parrying a light. Now the timing of it is very, very quick. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of time, and it's very hard to parry light attacks on console. That is a very hard thing to do, but on PC it's fairly easy because you got the frames there, the 60 FPS, all that sort of jazz. But keep that in mind. You parry a light attack, you get a heavy attack. If you parry a heavy attack, you get a free light attack. You can guard break if you want to take the risk, but they can counter guard break it. And of course the parry, all you need to do is just heavy attack, either their light attack or their heavy attack when they go to attack you, and it lights up at that last second. Boom, just like that. Over time, you'll get good with it. It just takes a lot of practice, a lot of timing, and of course, you're not going to parry everything. You'll be trying to throw out your own attacks and everything as well. It's easy to do against a bot, but when you're versing multiple players or a player, it becomes a lot more difficult. So yeah, you'll just have to sit there, practice, and get good at it. But just remember those fundamental basics of what you can get off what parry. Boom. Slap. Next up, we're going to be looking at bleeds and unblockables. So there are several different mechanics when it comes to the game. One of them is a thing called a bleed. So if I go for a heavy attack with a shaman, she is able to feint that heavy attack with a bleed. So boom, bang. And as you can see, my weapon glowed purple there. So if I go heavy, boom. Right now he's bleeding. You can see his bar is glowing red for a small portion of his health. So as you can see here, what I've done is I've turned his health regeneration off so you can see that he's actually bleeding. So if I go boom, his health will tick down a certain percent. So if I keep bleeding him, boom, eat the bleed. As you can see, I'm also gaining health. It's a thing of the shaman. If you basically damage someone who is bleeding, you will regenerate your health. So right now, I'm out of stamina, but he's gonna bleed to death. So you can actually bleed people to death in this game. So if you end up getting someone's entire health bar worth of bleeds, you can then run away. If you want, you can sort of like just block everything, parry everything, and just wait for them to bleed to death. Now the characters that can bleed in this game, you have the shaman, of course, the one I'm playing right now, which is one of them. You have the peacekeeper, and you have the Nabushi. Now there are other ways to bleed people. You have fire traps, which do the same sort of, you know, ticking down damage thing. You have spike traps, which make people bleed that way. There's other ways to bleed, but those are the main characters that you're going to be seeing bleeding people. But basically that's how a bleed works. Whatever your bleed mechanic is, you just hit them with the bleed. If it goes through and they do not block it, then they will start bleeding, their health will tick down, and there's nothing they can do about that. They just have to take the bleed damage. So the best way to counter a bleed is basically some of them are uncounterable, like the peacekeeper. If she guard breaks you, she can stab you for 3 bleeds, and there's nothing you can do to stop that. The only way to stop that really is to not get guard broken, so you got to counter guard break. With a shaman, the way to get rid of her bleed is to basically block it. But once again, because she can do this thing called a soft feint, where she goes for a heavy and then she bleeds in the opposite direction, it's kind of hard to do it. Now, I'll go over feinting and soft feinting in a minute. Now, the next mechanic we're going to be talking about is called an unblockable. So the way an unblockable works is, first of all, it looks like this. That right there is an unblockable. Now, as you can see, there's a few unique things there. If I go for a normal heavy attack, that's what it looks like. If I go for that unblockable, there's this orange glow around me. You can see when I hit the person. Boom. Let's go for an execution. There is a little unblockable thing icon that pops up on them. And give me your guts. I love this game so much. Blah. Basically, the way an unblockable works is it's in the name. You cannot block it. If I go for an unblockable, he can't block that, even if he tried. If he was to move his guard over to block it, it would just go through his guard and it would hit him for the damage. The only way to stop an unblockable is to parry it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if the Warden will do his unblockable. There we go. So as you can see there, the Warden does have an unblockable. Now, the only way to stop an unblockable is to parry it. So you got to get good at parrying. So what I'll do is I'll block the first one. Second one, okay. We'll wait for him to do that top unblockable, and I'll show you what happens when I just try and block it. So ready? Block. Not going to work. It's going to go right through my guard, which sucks for me. So keep that in mind. The only way to stop a unblockable is to parry it. So you got to get good at your parries. Now keep in mind as well that you need to get used to the timings on certain unblockables because they are very slow depending on the character. Once again, depending on the character, it's very different. So Highlander, for example, has very slow heavy attacks, and he can also go into some very slow heavy unblockable attacks. So the timing of that will be different from the timing of a, say, regular heavy attack because it takes longer to swing around, which means that if you are used to parrying just quick heavy attacks and you go to parry a unblockable heavy attack from a Highlander, the timing will be different. You'll need to wait longer. So that right there is bleeds, and that is unblockables. Now we're going to be going over feinting. All right, so now I'm here on my Berserker, and what I'm going to do is, row your boat. Yeah, emote spam. Get used to the emote spam. It's a great thing. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to feint, because Berserker is the feinting king. Okay, this is his entire playstyle is revolved around feinting and all that jazz. Bop. Feinting, the basics of it is when you go for a heavy attack, you can basically feint it by pushing your feint button on Xbox, that's B, whatever it is on PS4 and PC, just convert it otherwise. So you hit your feint button at the startup of the move and you will feint like this. Okay? Now keep in mind you can't feint light attacks. So if I go for a light attack and I try and feint, it's not going to work, okay? Because you can't feint a light attack. You can feint a heavy attack though, and that is a very good thing, which we'll get into in a minute. So the timing on a feint is fairly simple. So when you throw an attack, there's a startup. So you can see he sort of swings at the person. Now if I swing and I feint, during the startup of the move, I will feint the move, okay? So if I go for a heavy and I push the feint button during the startup, I will feint. Now I can delay that a little bit, and it's fine. If I wait too long, it's going to go through. It's not going to work, okay? So you want to get used to that startup. So heavy feint. Heavy feint. You can do it from whichever direction. Heavy feint, heavy feint, heavy feint. Okay? So that's how the heavy feinting works. It's just remember at the startup of the move, hit that feint button. For Xbox it's B, and you will feint. And you can get used to doing it. Just practice doing it. And remember, if you leave it too late, you're just going to throw the attack out. So get used to the timing. So if you heavy feint heavy, for example, what will happen is they might go to parry your heavy, and then you'll hit them before they hit you. If you heavy feint guard break, they'll go for their heavy attack, and because the heavy attack has a startup period, you will guard break them out of their heavy attack, okay? So you can guard break people out of their heavy attacks. It's the same as if he throws a heavy, I'm here and I guard break him, I will guard break him out of that heavy. If I heavy feint guard break and he goes for the heavy, I will guard break him out of that heavy. So it's a good way to land a guard break, because if you just walk up and guard break someone, like I said, everyone at this point is just going to counter guard break it for the most part. If I heavy feint guard break, he thinks I'm going for the heavy. It's because he sees the heavy icon, the red glow pop up for the heavy. But what I'm doing is I'm feinting it, and then I'm going for that guard break, which will throw the person off. So feinting is all about throwing them off. If I heavy feint and then light attack in the opposite direction, that comes out very quick, and there's not much you can do about that. Heavy feint, oh, light attack. Heavy feint, go for the top, light attack. It's just a really good way to mess with people, to get them to not know what the hell you're doing, play some mind games with them, and just basically throw them off. So a better way to land heavies, if I heavy feint and then throw a heavy from this side, like I said, he might try and parry it that side, he might try and block that side, comes out the other way, gets hit by it. What you do is heavy feint, land a heavy, go for that unblockable, feint it into a guard break. I just landed a guard break because he thought I was going for that unblockable. That's what feinting is about. It takes some time, takes some practice, but it's about just messing with people, throwing them off. They have no idea what you're doing because you're basically feinting all your attacks. You're letting some rip. You're feinting other ones, guard breaking, you're light attacking. You're throwing people off. Just get used to that timing. Heavy feint, heavy feint at the startup of the move, okay? Heavy feint, boom, heavy feint, heavy feint. Now, so that is basically how you feint and how you do all that sort of jazz. Now we're going to be looking at deflects. What a deflect is, you have to dodge into their attack like a parry. When you see that thing glow, you dodge into their attack. Boom. And then you follow it up with another attack. So it's a massive, awesome way of countering people's attacks when they attack. If you don't want to parry, it's infinitely harder than a parry. It's infinitely harder than just, say, throwing out attacks normally. But once you get the timing down, it's really, really cool. Keep in mind that certain characters have deflects. Other ones don't. Not everyone has a deflect. So normally the assassins are the ones who have a deflect. Most of the time, if you're playing the Orochi, for example, you want to go for that light unblockable deflect, boom, because it's nice and quick and you're guaranteed to land it. But with the heavy one, what you can do is you can cancel that into a guard break. Orochi has some neat tricks up his sleeve. Boom. Because you're not guaranteed to land that heavy deflect on the Orochi, what most people will do is they'll cancel that into the guard break. Sometimes they'll leave it. It all depends. Bop. This game has a lot of nuances, which you'll get all that, and this video will help you out greatly. But what we need to do is the timing with the deflect. So when you see it glow, dive in just like you would with a heavy attack. Instead of, you know, hitting your heavy as you see it glow, what you're doing this time is you are basically going for a dodge. So you're dodging instead of hitting your heavy when you see it glow. Dodge, boom, and you hit that thing. Now keep in mind, it's not automatic. You have to hit whatever the deflect is in order to pull off the deflect. So for the Orochi, in order to get the light attack one, you have to hit light attack after you see that deflect animation go off. If you want to hit the heavy attack, you have to hit that heavy attack after you see that deflect animation go off. So it all depends on what you want to get. Okay, and we'll go over what I just did there in a minute as well. So go in, I want to do light, hit light attack after I deflect. Just like that. And just get into the habit after you land whatever deflect you want to just hit your light attack or hit your heavy attack depending on the character. Boom. Just practice this one, the parry, the counter guard break, the feinting, all those mechanics which are very, very core to this game. Just take practice, okay? You're not going to get it straight away. It's going to be difficult to do it consistently. But once you practice and you get better at it, you'll be completely fine. So we went over dodge before. Now dodging is a great way, of course, to get out of attacks. He goes to attack, I dodge, he's not going to hit me. That's brilliant, I'm not taking damage, but you can also attack him back. If I hit light attack on the Orochi after I dodge, you can see I do an attack and he can't stop that. Boom. If I was just dodge an attack like this on a target, they're going to parry me because they can see it coming. But if I do it as he's attacking, there is nothing he can do to stop me because he's in that recovery time, he's in that attack animation. Now keep in mind you can bait out attacks by feinting. That's a good use of feinting. But for the most part, if you do it when they commit to the attack, so after they've, you know, gone past that point of no return where they can't feint anymore, because remember you can only feint during the startup window, then they have to commit to the attack and you can dodge now and I can hit with the light attack. So once again, wait for it. He's committed. He can't feint at that point and I can guarantee to get that dodge attack off on him. He's committed. I'm good. Wait for the attack. Yep, he's committed at that point. He can't do anything. I'm going to dodge it. I'm going to hit him. So that's the cool thing about dodging and attacking. Wait for the last second. Same sort of principle. Don't wait too long because you will get hit. Wait for that little glow just like a parry and everything else. And then you're set. Boom. And you can kill people. Now, everyone has different attacks. Shaman has a dodge heavy attack. Peacekeeper has a dodge heavy attack as well. So it all depends on the character you're playing. So keep that in mind. It all purely depends on the character you're playing, whether it's a dodge light attack or if it's a dodge heavy attack. Alright, so we're back here on my warlord, the Nordic Turtle himself. So, what I'm going to be showing you now is we're going to be going over baiting out certain moves. Okay, so baiting out a dodge, that way you can guard break someone. And then we're going to be going into what daze looks like. What I mean by baiting out a move, this is a more of an advanced thing and it's something that you'll pick up as you play the game a little bit more, but it's very, very fundamental. Certain characters have a bash mechanic, so the Warden has one, and so does the Warlord, you have the Conqueror, and what a bash mechanic for the Warlord looks like is if I dash forward and I hit guard break, I will do that. Okay, so he has a headbutt, which is really cool, it's unblockable, they can't stop that. If they get hit by it, they're getting hit by it. So the really cool thing about this is I can get a free light attack off after I land that headbutt, and they can't stop that. The only way to stop the headbutt is to dodge it, or you can hit people out of it. But when people face the Warlord, when they see him dash forward, they know he's going to go for that light attack because you can do this consistently, okay? You can guard break, you can go forward, boom. So people are always looking for the headbutt when you're playing characters like Warlord. They're looking for the bash when you're playing Conqueror. Shaman, she has a bash as well. So what you can do is you can bait people, which is really, really cool. So what you can do is you dash forward, but you don't hit your guard break. You dash forward, and the bot's not going to do it because it's a bot. It's just going to stand there, but players will react to your movement. They'll see you dash forward. They think the headbutt's coming. What you can do instead is you can dash forward, wait for your recovery, and then go for a guard break. Wall splat, smack. So basically, I've set the bot to do this here. So what you can do is, I go for the headbutt, the bot's going to dodge, because that is the best way to get rid of the headbutt. Now, as you can see, that's what most people will do when they see the headbutt. They'll dodge the attack, okay, because it's the best thing to do in order to get rid of it. Now, the bot's not going to do it, but what I can do is I can dash forward. A player will think you're going to go for that headbutt, and they will dodge. They will dodge like this guy, okay? So what you can do instead is you dash forward, wait, and then guard break. Like I said before, you can catch people out of their dodges with a guard break, which means then you can either try and wall splat them, you can try and go for your free heavy. There's tons of things you can do. So just by dashing forward and not actually going for that headbutt, what you can do is you can bait people into dodging, and then you can basically bait out a guard break, and then you can slam them into a wall, so on and so forth. It's awesome. It's more of a mind game move. So what I like to do is I'll go for the headbutt, I'll go for this, I'll headbutt them, and then on the third one, I'll just dash forward. They'll dodge to dodge the headbutt, and then what I'll do is I'll dash and I'll guard break them. Free, easy guard break, and then I'll take whatever I want from there. Now, keep in mind, this will only pretty much work on characters that either have a dash attack, sort of like this, or characters that have a bash mechanic that you can use consistently. It all depends, but it's a nice mind game. It's something to keep in mind, something to learn. So the next two things we're going to be looking at is the daze mechanic, and I'm also going to be throwing in there full block stance, okay? So all block stance, whatever you want to call it. And then we're also going to check out hyper armor. So first of all, let's check out the daze mechanic. So Warlord has a cool little thing that if you parry an attack, hit that. As you can see, he's got this like swirl around his head right now. So what that does is if I parry and I hit him with that, boom, daze mechanic. So his screen goes all grey, it goes all wonky, and what it does is it basically means he can't see where I'm attacking from anymore. Boom. He no longer can see where I'm attacking from, which is really, really good because he's dazed, and it lasts only a few seconds, as you can see. But it means that if I go like this and I throw a light attack out there, and I throw an attack out here, he can't see where my guard is. He can't see which direction I'm attacking from. He can't see this anymore, okay? Because he's dazed, which is really, really cool, because then I can start, you know, throw an attack out here. I can go there, feint that, go for a guard break. He's going to see my action of me moving. He can't see the red glow that I'm attacking from that direction anymore. So he's just going to have to go off my movements. He sees me go for an attack, but then I feinted it. And then I went for a guard break, which means he's not going to see all that because his screen's all fuzzy, it's all messed up, and it's going to just screw him over. It's a cool mechanic. Only a few characters have it, but it's a really nice thing to just chuck on people. Raider uses lots of dazing mechanics with his stunning tap. So keep that in mind. That's what daze is, and you'll see it when it happens to you. Your screen goes all fuzzy, it's all weird, and you can't see the person's guard anymore. You can't see where they're attacking from anymore. It's really annoying. Next thing we're going to look at is hyper armor. So certain characters have hyper armor. Now if someone goes for an attack, and I attack, see, I ate his attack there. That's something new. So what you can do is, what I'll do is I'll regenerate. There we go. Opponents, regenerate. So if he goes to attack, I attack at the same time. If I have hyper armor, I'm going to strike through his attack. Even though I'm going to eat the damage, it doesn't matter because I'm going to hit him with my damage. And the way you can tell you have hyper armor is you see your character will glow, just like that. So he goes to attack, I attack at the same time. We're both going to trade there. Now, characters who have hyper armor genuinely have more health than other characters, so they're very, very good at trading. Now, keep in mind the timings of the activation are a little bit different. So if I attack now, I'm going to hit through. So keep in mind you can do it too late. If I do it right now, he's going to hit me before I can activate my hyper armor. So you need to make sure as you see them attack, you strike at the same time. Sometimes you'll beat them, depending on how fast their attack is. Sometimes you'll just trade like that. It's an awesome mechanic just for trading blows and just like not giving a shit about people's attacks really. And generally you'll have more health if you're playing a character who has hyper armor, so it's completely fine to just throw some attacks in there and trade with people. Just remember your timings. As they attack, you go for the attack and you'll slap through. As he attacks, you attack, you'll slap through and you'll trade. It's really cool. So now we're going to take a look at all guard stance. Only a few characters have this, and that's what it looks like. So what you do is you pull back on your little guard stick here, okay, and Warlord will do his full block. What this means is if I sit here in full block, my stamina will drain normally, but I will block every single attack that hits me. Okay, so as you can see, I'm doing stamina drain right there. I'm losing 4 stamina every sort of second as it ticks, but he can't do anything. Okay, he can't hurt me. And if I block an attack, I can hit him with a follow-up attack. But there are downsides to this. I can't move. I can't walk around while I'm in this stance. And although, yes, he can't do anything with a normal attack, he can hit me with an unblockable. And the unblockable will go through this old guard stance. This full block, whatever you want to call it. His unblockables will go through my full block. And at the same time, if he was to walk up, and I'll set him to do this so you can see. So we'll take the heavy attack off. We'll go guard break. Okay? He can guard break me out of it. But if I'm like this and I think he's going to come near me, I can basically, boom, just like that. I can go for a counter attack to stop him. So once again, this is another mind game. What you can do on a player is you can sit here like this. They're going to be like, shit, okay? And then they come to attack you or guard break you or do something to basically get you out of that full block stance. And you can follow that up with an attack, which is really, really cool. It's a nice little mechanic. And also, if I go like this, if I set the opponent to attack again, what I can do is I can wait for his heavy attack. I can time it. Boom. And get a free hit off, okay? This is really, really good. If you are predicting an opponent's attack, you can basically just throw yourself into all block stands and you can get a free cheeky little attack off, which is nice, okay? And then you can follow it up with a whole bunch of other stuff. In this game, there are lots of mind games, but it all comes down to the fundamentals of the game. Okay, so you have your hyper armor for trading. You have your parrying when he throws an attack out if you want to do that, and then you can guard break. You can go for a heavy attack depending on the character. If he doesn't counter guard break it, you can go for a light attack if you get your heavy parry off. You can get a heavy attack off if you parry a light. You can basically go like this, guard break people, get those heavies off. You can guard break people, wall splat them, and then get heavies off. You can do certain mechanics. You can just do tons of different things. It's really cool. In the end, it all comes down to the fundamentals and the mechanics of the game that I've shown you in this video. So there are 2 more things that I want to show you guys, and these are very fundamental things to the game. One is a max punish, and one is what revenge looks like, okay? So what you can see now is in my bottom left corner there is a little bar with a fist. Now that is my revenge meter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here and blocking attacks, getting hit by stuff, just basically everything in the game will build your revenge by a varying degree. Gear stats as well will change that, so you got to keep that in mind. But when your revenge bar is full, this is your anti-ganking mechanic in 4v4. So this is to help you just absolutely crush people, to fend off ganks in 4v4, to basically give you a fighting chance against groups of people who are trying to murder you. So, in a second, boom, as you can see, I now can activate revenge. So when he goes to attack, I'm going to activate it. Boom, it's going to knock him on his ass, and then from there, I can then follow that up with several attacks. Now, as you could see there, I had a shield, so it gives you an extra shield, so that way you can withstand some more damage, because remember, it's meant to be a mechanic to help you out when you're getting attacked by 3 players, 2 players, like 4 players, that sort of thing. Now, I'll show you it again, because there are several things you can do while you have revenge active. If you activate it, so you basically pop it, as people go to attack you, they will hit you and they will bounce off and they'll land on the ground, which lets you basically get a max punish off on them. It allows you to crush their face in. You also do more damage when you have revenge active, so you got to keep that in mind. You have that shield, which is really, really cool. And I'll knock this guy over and I'll show you something cool because it affects parrying as well. Boom. Okay. Go for the attack. Now, if I parry him, it will knock him on the ground, which is really, really cool. Okay, so it will do that for everyone. Keep in mind as well, if like I parry his attack and there's 3 people there, I will parry every single person's attack and they will all land on the ground. Revenge is really, really cool. It's a really cool mechanic. It used to be completely broken and overpowered when the game first started, but since then, they have fixed it. Okay, they've done well with the whole revenge mechanic, and it's in a semi-good place right now. It still needs some tweaks, but it's fine for the most part. But keep that in mind, you have this really cool mechanic called revenge, but make sure when you pop it, you do it when they actually attack you, because if I, like, you know, pop my revenge, which I'll do in a second, before he attacks me, it's not going to work. It's not going to knock him on his ass. It's not going to do anything funky, none of that. Okay, so you have to wait for them to attack, so that way they actually hit you. This is also where feinting comes into play. If I have someone who I know has revenge and he's holding onto it because he's waiting for me to attack so he can knock me on my ass, I'll heavy feint. I'll throw out a couple of heavy feints, which will make him pop it, okay? It'll trick him into popping it, or force him into popping it. Either that, or I'll just wait for the timer to run out, stuff like that. But that is the whole revenge mechanic. It's really, really cool. It's really unique, and you just build it up passively as you play the game, and as you hit people, as you do get hit, certain things like that, and of course, gear stats change it. Alright guys, so we're here with my Peacekeeper, and now I'm going to be talking about max punishes. Now this one is very, very important, and it varies drastically depending on the character you're playing. So basically, what is a max punish? It is the most damage you can possibly do to someone, right, through a combo. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the stamina regen off this guy. So now he should be able to take damage. So we're going to go through and show you, for example, the Peacekeeper's max punish. What you want to do is get them out of stamina. You want to guard break. You want to do 2 stabs, kick them onto their ass, dash forward, heavy into a light bleed. Now, Peacekeeper has several cool mechanics. After every heavy attack, she can follow it up with a light bleed. Okay, by just hitting the light attack, you will make a little bleed on them, which is cool. I love this execution. So just so you know what it looks like, you go for heavy attack and then light attack and you'll make them bleed. Now, Peacekeeper has a unique guard break mechanic. When she guard breaks, she can tap the light attack 3 times to make people once again bleed, which is really, really cool. So what I'll do is I'll kill this guy and her bleed stack, which is also really cool. Now I can just dodge away and watch him just die. That's another thing I forgot to mention as well. You can also just double dodge backwards and you will do a extra roll out, okay? That's a good way of just disengaging from a fight. So when it comes to Peacekeeper, her max punish is you basically do 2 of those guard break bleeds. You then hit them with a guard break. You then throw them on their ass by just guard breaking them forward in any direction or to the side, whatever you want. You then dash forward into a heavy attack, which you will jump forward and land. And then you land yourself a light bleed because you just hit them with a heavy attack for free. And that is the way you do the most damage as Peacekeeper when they're out of stamina. So ready? Guard break. Light, light. Kick him onto his ass. Dash forward. Heavy, light. And that is the most damage you can get off with a Peacekeeper, which is really, really cool. Now, of course, every single hero will have different max punishes, so you got to keep that in mind. But it's just about knowing which character you're playing, getting used to it, and then working it out and trying to get their max punish. It's the best thing to do. Some people get max punish off a wall splat, so remember throwing them against the wall. Others get it from draining their stamina completely, like this, and then throwing them on the ground. Bop, whichever way you want. It all comes down to the character in the end, but that is the max punish, and max punishing is a very, very important part of For Honor, along with revenge and the rest of the mechanics. So that is it, guys. That is my ultimate beginner's guide to For Honor. That is everything you need to know about the game in terms of the basics and a few little advanced things thrown in there, like, you know, baiting out certain attacks, baiting out a guard break, the max punish, all that sort of stuff. The basics are all there. It all comes down to you guys now. You just need to watch this video again if you need, go into the training mode, and then just practice. Practice, practice, practice all these little things. Set the bot to just do heavy attacks, practice your deflects, practice your parries, you know, practice your feints, all that sort of stuff, and just get used to the timings on everything. Once you learn the core mechanics of the game like this, then you'll start crushing people, then you'll start having a lot more fun, and you also stop getting your head kicked in a bunch. But that is the end of the video, guys, so thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and let me know your thoughts. I love reading and replying to all your comments down below. And feel free to check out my Discord and Twitter. There is a link down below in the description box for both of those as well. The Discord is a great way for me to talk to you guys outside the YouTube comments section. And of course, the Twitter is a great way for you guys to get a notification whenever a video is being uploaded, because YouTube is a bit weird sometimes. And if you like this video and you like what I'm doing here on the channel and you want to support the channel further, feel free to check out my Patreon. There'll be a link down below in the description box, and a link will pop up at the end of the video. And if you choose to donate, it is greatly appreciated. And a big shout out to my current patrons whose names you've been seeing in the background. Just wanted to say thank you for your support. It really does mean a lot. And please share this video around. It does help me out a fuck ton. And if you want to see more videos from me, please hit the subscribe button. I shall see you all in the next video. Have a good one, guys.